I picked a creature that probably is one of the most famous creatures with horns. So let's get going. And as you can see, the bighorn sheep is our topic for the day. Again, I'm trying to grow an audience this summer, and I'm doing these Monday through Friday. So join us live, or you can just watch them recorded later on. However you do it, watch them, and please subscribe and share. Tell all your friends that there's an artist that's doing free lessons, and I'm a Christian, and these are safe things to go to. You don't have to worry about me delving off into some topic that I shouldn't be talking about, because surprisingly and shockingly, a lot of cartoonists that instruct online, even when they're doing lessons for kids, sometimes get into areas that you think, wow, nothing is safe anymore. So just the thought there. So let's trace our topic or our subject matter to understand the shapes that we're working with, so then we can draw them later on. So I'm sketching with a red pen, red. Well, I've got red set for my stylus, drawing digitally here. I'm going to try to approach this a little bit differently than I've been doing the other ones, just kind of change things up a little bit. I would normally just kind of trace the outline of the shape here, but I see something else here that I want to go after. And the first thing I'm going to do is the shape of the sheep's head is kind of a box. Now, it's not a flat box, of course. It comes out, or a square. So within that box, we've got this kind of a dynamic there. Again, this is a 3/4 view, which makes it a little more tricky to draw. So there's another square or rectangle here. And then to help us get that 3/4 view, the front here is, of course, rounded off a little bit. I'm just generalizing with these squares and rectangles. And then we do have some center lines to think about too. So that center line runs right up through the face of the ram. And then there's it's kind of the bridge of the nose right between the eyes area right there, and then the mouth comes down like that. The nose comes down like that, comes back. Again, it just helps you draw anything if you can understand the basic shapes. And that jaw right here, eyes area, you can see the other eye just a little bit. So that's the construction of the face. Well, mostly there's kind of an area right there to the some midline, and then the eye right there. Again, you can see the eye on the other side. Now the ear on this on the reference anyway, is kind of pointing backwards. So I don't know if this ram is kind of ticked off, and he's thinking, I'm going to have to use my horns to fend off whoever's looking at me with their camera, whoever's taking the picture. Again, we're not going to do too much with the neck and the body, but just indicate it there. And then for the horns, There's the base line for the horn, the attach. I'm not drawing it through. Sometimes I'll go draw it like that. But now the horns are very, very important to this creature. And again, if we don't get them right, this could kind of crash and burn our ram. And there's something that I want to exaggerate when we do our caricature, our cartoon of the ram. So the horn comes around like that. I started in the middle here and then went up and around. And then this one, that center line goes up and then it disappears and comes around and then comes around like this. So I guess the other one you could draw kind of a shape like that and then have that come around like that. So the other interesting part of this is that not only do you have to get the shape of the outside, the contour of the ram's horn right, but because of the way that the horn is textured, formed, it has a very distinct line pattern in it. I think that's from growth. and so that helps give shape to the horns, and that's something that we can add in our drawing to give it a little more character, a little more flavor. And you've seen me draw lines like this. And it's the shape, it is the shape of the horn. As it goes around, those lines change. See how the lines are curved here because that's the way the shape is coming towards you. And then it flips around because the horn is turning around here and coming at you from a different direction. I'll just throw those on there for help. This part of the horn, the curve goes up a little bit because it's moving away from you. And then down here, it's curved up this way as the horn comes at you. But oops, I went too far. Right in here, that line straightens out and then it curves down because of the way the horn is. Very nice exercise for practicing shape. Now the horn over here is damaged, and we're not gonna follow the damage part. We'll just finish it as if it was a perfect horn. So I think that that wraps up our sketch phase or our tracing phase. So let's reduce that in size. Move that over there. It is a fairly complex thing. So this week is a little more complicated perhaps than other weeks, just because of the structures of the horns and antlers. Yesterday was a moose, and that was a bit of a challenge. So if you're able to, in your homes, wherever you're practicing your drawing, you can do the same thing. Find some photos online. Now, the ones that I'm using, again, are copyright free, so I won't get any penalty from using them for someone else has the rights or something like that. These are put online, available for people to use like I'm doing so. And I don't have to credit anybody. I don't have to pay anyone any money. And YouTube or whoever's not going to get me in trouble for using their photos. I have full permission to do what I'm doing. All right, so that looks pretty good. Let's get another layer out and we'll start sketching our ram. And this one's going to be a bit of an interesting thing because I like to exaggerate the horns. You got to get the detail of the face in there too, though. So, all right, so we started out with a box, a square. And then from there, I drew a little box down here in the corner, another one. And then that allowed me to draw something like that. And we've got the construction of the front of the nose, the center line. Both of those areas come up like this. Go around. The nose comes down like that. And I'm going to make a cartoony version of this, but I'm just kind of sketching in the pieces and parts right now. Now, if you had to assign a more of a human attitude towards goats and rams and sheep, animals with horns on their heads like that, and you know what they're meant to do, those horns are designed to do something. What kind of an attitude would you give? Not that animals necessarily have attitudes like that, but it can seem like it. And I've been around some of these types of creatures, maybe in the same family, and they don't necessarily seem really friendly. All right, we got this right there, where the eyes go, and with the general area. And then there's this line here. And then where the horns go, right there. And then the neck comes out there. The ear goes back, something like that. And then the top of the neck, actually it should go like that. And actually the front of the neck, I really blew that one. That goes over here. I thought, wow, these things have thick necks because they have to. God designed them to use those horns. And if they had little thin necks, they wouldn't survive too well. All right, let's see how we do with these horns now. In fact, I'll probably reduce my sketch a little bit just to accommodate the large ram horns that I want to put on here. And so there's and then the top of this one, something like that. Just get it into the neighborhood. And I'm going to redo that. In fact, I'm going to start out with a line on here that might orient me better. Because there's like a tighter circle in here, and that's easier for me to follow than starting out with that midpoint. So All right, that works better for me. And the midpoint would go back up and around. And I might thicken the base right there because that's the thickest part. I don't want the top to be thicker. All right, so there's horn number 1. And then the second one is just as high. So you draw a line across there like that. And it goes up and it actually kind of slopes. It doesn't curve like completely perfectly round there. And then maybe like that. And then it comes right out from there. And again, you want to be consistent. So I'm going to draw a guideline right there. They're such cool shapes. There we go. And then to help us with our shape, I love the pattern at the top of the horn. There's like a ridge right there. It's the very, very top. And it goes back like that. And then as you look at the other horn, you're looking right at the top of it. So goes back like that. And then this part right here is the top of the horn as it comes around. So it's very... I'm messing that up. Let me fix that. Because it's straight down. And then it starts to curve more as it comes back out. Sometimes with doing this sort of thing, it's helpful to go, okay, this is the curvature here on this point, and then go down and say, okay, the curvature here is this, and then you've got to kind of morph one curve into the next one up on top, and it gives you a better consistency. So there's a little hint on how to do that. All right, and then the curve for here. See how the lines are going. It's got this little almost like a subtle S shape in here. And again, it changes direction in the middle as the horn comes around and then goes back out. All right, so like I said, I'm going to give this guy a bit of an attitude, and now that we've got it basically kind of sketched in, we're going to give him a kind of a sly smile. And I think I can make heads or tails of that when we lighten this. So on the other side. And then, like I said, this guy's going to have an attitude, so. He's the guy you don't mess with, because he'll remind you what those horns on his head are for. Our ram. All right. It took a while to get there. 21 minutes of roughing it in, but I think it looks pretty good so far. All right, so we'll knock that back. And then get myself another layer. Get the black ink. Not really ink, it's just black color on my computer. So like I said, I usually start with a part that I can kind of build out from. And I like the bridge of the nose here, so. Give it a little fur indication. And then that. And you're dealing with mirror parts. Okay, so this part of the nostril, they're both the same. If you looked at them straight on, they would be exactly the same, but just flipped. But they're still the same. It's just that the perspective's a little bit different, so you got to account for that. And then they've got this little ridge that goes down the middle. And then I'm exaggerating this part. And then I'm giving him an open mouth. Tilting it a little bit. And it goes back. And let's draw in those teeth. I don't see any teeth in the reference, but I'm going to give him some. And then I'm going to actually give him a little bottom lip too. Right there. That kind of makes me laugh a little bit. All these little details. Give that the smile corner of the mouth. And then the bottom jaw, kind of played with that a little bit. Goes back and then it comes down. Something like that. And then, we can put in that neckline back there. And like I did yesterday, not that we're concentrating a lot on the neck and such, but if I put a line here and then a line here, it just looks empty. And so I think it helps to have at least a little indication of what's going on. And then there's kind of a line from the eye to the middle of this white area that is the mouth. The fact that the mouth is inside that white area, so I'm gonna make that go back a little bit like that. Give this line where you would color it an indication in line. And again, I'm not coloring these, so for the most part, you can color it if you want later. There we go. But we're right from the, I don't know, side of the nose all the way to the eye. There's like a little indication of some shape there. So we'll do that. And then fill that up there. And I'm going to skip the eye area. It's so tempting to fill in the eyes right away because that's a favorite part of most drawings of faces. It's what we look for. We look at people in the eyes. We want to see expression and where they're looking, and all that's important to us. It's how God made us. And so now the contour of the horns have that little bumpy ribbed type texture to them. And then the other part on the way back. Smaller on the further you get from the head, the smaller the bumpiness of the surface of the horn. We'll deal with those the line work after I get done with the outline. So do that around, comes up, and it's not sharp. It's rounded off on the end. So don't. I mean, again, it's a cartoon. You can interpret it that way if you want to, but there we go. And then the ear. And then I want to give the ear some shape, just to help you know what that ear is doing, and that it's going back. Give it a little shadow there too, kind of pop it off the head a bit. And then there's on ours, slight line there where the neck is. Okay. And now those lines on the top of the horn. If you have ever seen a bighorn ram, bighorn sheep in person, make a comment. Put that in the comments. I have actually seen a bighorn sheep. My family, when I was a kid, mom and dad, my brother, we went up to Canada to a place called Banff and Jasper. So a shout out to you Canadians. Your country is beautiful. And I took a picture of a bighorn sheep with my little Kodak Instamatic camera. It's the poorest excuse for a camera, but hey, that's what we had back in my day. Fond memories of that. There we go. And you could get a little more detail and such. We don't have time for that this morning, but or this afternoon, according to my time frame. So let's get some more of this. Again, it just really helps give a shape to the horns. All right, and then as it comes down, it switches direction and increases in curvature. Oop. And if you get those lines wrong, it just will not read right. Your brain knows, hey, something's not right there. Again, because God made us that way. And now the eyes. Another thing I'm choosing to deviate away from the reference is that you can't really see it in this picture so much, but sheep eyes, I think, are a long rectangle. The pupil, the dark dot inside the eye, is actually like a rectangle. Goats and sheep, look up their eye shape sometime. They're really odd. But this guy's got an attitude. And I'm going to drop his eye down just a little bit. I always like to leave that little reflection part in the eye. There we go. And there it is. Our ram, our goat, or bighorn sheep. So let's take away the sketch layer. You can see it free of the free of all the line work underneath. Although as an artist, I love seeing that stuff, the construction and what the artist did that isn't supposed to be printed. If I see some original artwork, like the actual drawing, and you get to see the pencil lines and all that stuff, that's music to my eyes. I love that stuff. All right, so the last part to do is to draw my name. So let's put that right here. Dan Lietha .com. So check out my website, and you can find all kinds of my other artwork that I'm doing for my current ministry, Reasons for Hope, and then I do some artwork on the side for Dr. Jason Lyle's ministry, Biblical Science Institute, and I did years and years and years of artwork for Answers in Genesis. So you can check out all of those things, and make some use of those online too, and share them, and maybe they can bless more people, hopefully. So again, my name is Dan Lietha, cartoonist and illustrator, and you've been watching Draw Along with Dan. Join me next time for another animal with horns this week. So thanks for watching.